Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Zeb. So today is moving day for these guys right here. So we've had these chicks, there's 61 of them. We've had the big ones here and this first little brooder, the longest. And they've all been in the garage throughout the late part of winter and early spring here. And we've moved them outside about a week ago just to get them conditioned to being outside during the night. First couple nights we left the heat lamp in there just so they could have a nice transition, and then we took the heat lamps out. It's been 80 during the days and somewhere around mid 50s at night. They've all fared really well. We haven't had any loss, no sickness, nothing like that, so it's time for them to get moved out on pasture. So the younger ones here that we've got in the water trough brooder, there's 52 of those in there. They're all different breeds, and they've really slowed down growing. I think they've kind of outgrown the space that they have available, so that's another reason we're wanting to get them moved out to the chicken coop. That way they can grow a little bit faster. They're going through about a gallon of water a day and then about a gallon sized feeder a day. So they're still eating and drinking a lot, they're just not growing nearly as fast as what I think they should be. So all these guys down in here are fully feathered. Some of them are a little bit smaller than the other ones, but they do have all their feathers on them. So I don't think they're gonna have any problem transitioning down on the pasture. Like I said, we've had them out here outside in the elements for about a week now. We haven't had any problems with them, no sickness, anything like that. So they should transition just fine. I've got an old chicken coop that I built over at the other farm. We've got to go pick it up, do a little modification on it, get it stuck down here in the pasture, and get these guys moved today. So I hope y'all hang out with us, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, we made it over here to the old farm place, and I apologize about all the wind noise. The wind's blowing really hard today. Come over here to pick up this old chicken coop that I built several years ago. I think 5 years ago. And we just had it in this old block structure here as our makeshift chicken pen area. Served the purpose really well, but they're calling for some severe thunderstorms tonight, so I want to get this moved over to the new homestead. That way they don't get too wet tonight being outside. You don't think you can just walk it up on there?
What do you mean walk?
Fine. Hold it. We get it picked up. You hold it on the back of the trailer.
Maybe we'll see.
Don't go away. Got it?
Oh, no, not really.
Not really, but yeah.
Not really.
You don't? Or you do? Looks like you got it. Is it gonna fit?
Ooh, well, we done it now.
So I'm going to try to put the little chicks in first, just cause there's a whole lot more of them. And I'm going to be putting the bigger chicks in with them. And I'm hoping that the bigger chicks will be a little bit intimidated by the little chicks. and that way hopefully the big ones won't pick on the little ones too much. I want to keep them cooped up for a day or so. That way that they know that the new coop is their house. That's where they're going to be sleeping at night. So we're going to coop everybody up in there all together for at least one day, probably 2 days, and let everybody get accustomed to each other. And of course, you know, if there's some fighting and stuff, we'll have to deal with that when it comes. But hopefully by putting all the little chicks in, there's 52 of them and 9 of the big ones, so hopefully the bigger ones will be a little bit intimidated by all the little ones. That's the plan. We'll see if it works or not. We're gonna have a whole lot of eggs when all these chickens start laying eggs. I don't know what we're gonna do with all of them. We gonna eat them?
Yeah.
No, I mean, you gonna eat the eggs?
Yeah. You
gonna eat all the eggs?
Yeah. Can we dye some too?
You gonna dye some of the eggs? Well, we probably could dye some of them, yeah. All right, we got the feed and water loaded up. Let's go get this down there to the coop. Down there right behind the dump truck. And then we'll go move some of the birds.
Where did you get that from? Was that already in there? What?
Carry those.
Which ones?
Both of those.
These?
Yep.
Oh my god, I swear.
Yeah. To the chicken coop.
Wow.
I'm gonna put their feeder and water up on some blocks just so it gets it out of all this loose material. And then that way, hopefully, it'll stay a little bit cleaner. Hopefully. And then we'll put, give me that other feeder, Luke.
So, is this the last one?
I think the chicken coop's ready. All we gotta do now is go get some chickens.
Yay. Let's go.
Get them. You got one? Let me have it.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
Oh, you gonna get that one? Put the lid on. You be the lid person, okay? Yep.
These are my favorites. And chicken coop.
Yeah, we gotta come back and get them though. Alright, hurry, we gotta put them in there. You carrying that one?
Yeah.
Alright. Luke's got his favorite chicken over here. So I built this coop to be usable in the winter and summer. It's got these sliding windows on either side. Both sides have one of these, but we can open these windows on either side. You can see a little bit of light right through there. Let airflow go through the coop. That way it's not so hot in the summertime. Because there's gonna be 61 birds in here, so it's gonna be a little bit warm for the next day or so while we got them cooped up in here. I just got a piece of plywood covering up the hole on the front of the coop, I guess you would call it.
I would say the back.
I need to close this one down just a little bit more. Just enough to let some air flow through there. I just got a board screwed up here. I want to get one of those fancy automatic openers, but just haven't done that yet. So we've got these chickens out here in this stuff that's, I don't know, probably 3 feet tall. It's almost taller than Luke is. And the idea behind that is when we turn these chickens out, number one, they're going to eat a lot of this down over time. But number two, it gives them really good coverage for aerial predators like hawks and stuff.
Yep.
They can get in here and hide really well. Aerial predators can't see them as well with all this tall vegetation in here. Right on the other side here, I've mowed a strip just for the electric netting to go. That way that it hits on the bottom of the ground better. Because when you get in this tall vegetation, the bottom of that netting likes to get picked way up and the chickens can just run right under it. So we've got a lot more vegetation out here once the chickens eat down this spot. So it's going to be some really good cover for them to get in, and hopefully we don't lose any birds to, you know, aerial predators or anything like that. So we've got all the little chicks moved here. Transition went well for them. Nobody got hurt in the little box while they were in there for just a minute or two. We're going to go get the big chicks, put them in here, and make sure that they're not going to fight too much. The reason why I want to keep them all in here locked up, I want them to get used to this being their house and their home. It's called training your chickens. If you leave them locked up in your coop for a day or so, they'll know to come back in here at nighttime. They'll know this is where they need to roost. And the first day that you let the chickens out, that night you may have 5 or 6 chickens that you have to come and put in your coop. The next night it may be 2 or 3, and then the next night it may be 1 or 2. And then after about 4 or 5 days, you have to be diligent. You cannot skip a day of not putting your chicks up in the coop at night. If you're very diligent and you put your chicks up every night, or your chickens up every night that you let them out, the ones that don't go in, if you're diligent and you put them up, you can train your chickens to go in their coop automatically every single night. So let's go get those other big chicks and see how they do. Well, these chickens are gonna be harder to catch. They're faster.
Here, you be the little man.
Lid.
Hey, can you be the little man?
Lid.
This is little.
Don't let them out. I said don't let them out.
I didn't mean to.
You got
Oh, wow.
you gotta keep that lid on there.
I'm bad at being the little man. Let me catch him.
You can't catch them either. Be the lid man, come on.
I can't.
Be the lid man. You ready? Lid man, lid. Lid man. Put the lid down. Lid man. Lid up. Lid down.
Get that like that. You see, I'm terrible.
Hello, chickies. So I was kind of afraid that the big chickens would mess with the little chickens, but I think since the little ones are so big compared to the bigger ones, they're not like baby chicks, I don't think they're gonna have a problem. They've only been in here just a couple seconds, and so far they're not paying the little chicks any attention so far, so that's good. So I think they're really going to enjoy the little treat there tonight. And before it gets dark, I'll come in here and give them a little bit more greens just to tie them over through the night. Well, good morning. It's day 4 of the chicks being in here in the coop. They've all done really well, getting along just fine, no issues. Today is the day that we're going to let them out in this little pasture area. We've got to get their little ramp put on the front here. And then we've got to change the door. I'm gonna flip it around to the inside, put it on some hinges to where I can open and close it in the morning and nighttime. And we gotta put some roost on there. Let's go around and check on the chicks and see how they're doing this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, chickies.
Good morning.
You want to come out today? It's your lucky day. You get to come out. Come on.
So it's really hot in here. There's a lot of heat being put off by each chicken. So they stayed really warm last night, no issues there, even though it got down pretty close to freezing. And then tonight it's going to be not as cold, but it's going to get down pretty cold. So as long as these chicks are fully feathered, they should be just fine out in a little bit colder weather. Like I said, with this many chickens together, they didn't have any problems whatsoever.
I'm pretty sure you don't want to do that, Daddy.
Hello, chickies.
You know that this gonna jump out.
Hello, chickies.
Hello, everybody. Do that one in there?
Yeah, because we don't want this to fall and them not be able to get back up in there.
Hello.
So all the chicks are kind of nervous about going outside. There's 3 that went out, but all the other ones are still pretty nervous. So I'm just gonna get in here and work while they're in here. Maybe it'll help encourage some of them to go out. I gotta take down this piece of 2x4 here, and then we've got all these cedar poles here that I'm gonna be putting up as roosts.
There's a bunch under here. They're huge. It's a whole crowd.
So we'll leave everything open except for this back door. I'll shut it, let the chickens calm back down a little bit, let them get curious again, and hopefully they'll start going out the little ramp there. And then we'll leave them out all day today. Then tonight, before it gets completely dark, I'll come out here and see if I can find all the chickens and make sure they're all in the coop. It's gonna be pretty hard to find them all since the grass is so tall, because you can't see the chickens at all in here just walking around.
Well, I can see them.
Which is good for aerial predators, but it's bad for us because we got to make sure that all the chicks get up every night until they start doing it on their own. So I don't know if y'all can hear this or not, but it sounds like a beehive out here, and all these blooms that are blooming from this cover crop that I planted. There's millions of honeybees out here. I've never seen so many honeybees in one spot. We want to get honeybees eventually one day. I'm terrified of bees, but I'm gonna try it. So I'm not really scared of honeybees that much. They're not really aggressive, but other bees I'm terrified of. But I'm gonna be quiet and see if y'all can hear all these honeybees. Well, the chickens that were brave enough to venture out so far seem to be loving the pasture. They've ventured around a whole lot. They're kind of all huddled up under the coop right now, which is just fine. We've still probably got half of them in the coop that haven't been brave enough to come out yet. So we're gonna leave them down here for a while, let them get relaxed and comfortable, and see if the rest of them won't come out. So we'll be back down here this afternoon to check on these guys. Hopefully we can find them all in this tall stuff. Make sure they all get put back in the coop tonight. So this really tall vegetation is definitely serving its purpose for hiding the chickens, but it's also making it a challenge for us having to put these chicks up tonight. I knew there was going to be a lot that we have to put up tonight just because it's their first time ever being in a coop, and then their first time ever being out on pasture, so they really probably haven't grasped what to do yet. So that's where we come in. We're gonna put all the ones up for the night that didn't get in the coop. A lot of them are still out here foraging and stuff. They would probably wait a little bit longer on their own before they went up and roosted, but I just want to make sure that they all get in there tonight Tomorrow night we'll give them a little bit longer before we come out here and put the rest of them up, and then each day on we'll come out here a little bit later until we come out after dark and make sure that they're all up, and if they're not, we'll put the ones up that are out here after dark. Well, it's getting really dark now and we got all the chicks put in. It took a little bit longer than what I was expecting, but that's okay. We'll close them up in there, shut all the windows, and let them spend the night in the coop tonight, and then first thing in the morning we'll come back and let them out again. We'll do this for a couple days. Hopefully tomorrow we'll wait a little bit longer. There won't be quite as many chicks out, but with them being so young, we got to train them on the process of coming in and out of the coop every day. So I've been working with the chicks for the past few days here, letting them out every morning, putting them up every night, and last night was the first night that I didn't have to put any chicks up, and I think that was night 4 of coming out here. Very consistent, just a little bit after dark. All the chicks would be huddled up underneath the chicken coop together. You just pick them up, stick them in the coop. They're not running around everywhere like it was the first night, so it's a lot easier to wait till they all get settled down. We have one little chick that has escaped out here by itself. Must have got out one of the windows I left open too much. We're gonna turn all these chicks out, and they are super excited to come out in the mornings now, so it's a lot of fun to watch them all just bolt out all together at one time. So if you stick with this process, you can train your chicks really young to go back in their coop every night. You don't have to wait till they're older chickens. We haven't lost any chickens. This cover crop in here that's real tall is doing really good to conceal the chicks. I seen a red-tailed hawk flying over yesterday. It's kind of circling over, but it left after just a minute and I kept my eye on it. So I think leaving them in this tall vegetation is definitely worth it. We're gonna get these guys turned out. This is gonna be the end of this video. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. If you're training your chicks, let me know how that's going in the comments below, or what you're doing different and how that's going. I'd love to see how your process is going. I hope everybody enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one.